going to ask you another question too, because there is a misconception that people have is that if they have a will, their estate won't have to go through probate. Can you explain why a will would have to go through probate in Arizona?
Yeah, so a will guarantees you into probate. So so a will is a document that control, I guess let's back up a little bit further.
Okay.
Let's define a state.
Okay.
So in my world of estate planning, estate is everything a person owns, whether alive or dead.
Okay.
Now, in this sense, we're talking about the deceased.
Correct.
So so if you own a house and you're alive, it's part of your estate. If you pass away, it's still part of your estate. Let me go back
Right.
to my diagrams. So so the will controls what's in your estate. All right. So here's my friend, Mr. Estate. So all these things, whether he's alive or dead, that's part of his estate. So a last will and testament, it transfers the documents in a person's estate, meaning someone's dead and these things are titled in their name.
Right.
So the way we know it has to go through probate is because there's no one there to sign, right? So if the bank account is in the name of the dead person, you go to the bank, they're going to say, "Get out of here."
Right.
You know, if the title on the house is the name of the deceased person, if you're trying to sell it, the title company or the realtors, you know, the good realtors are going to say, "Get out of here," right? Because they're going to do a title report
Right.
and be like, "Who's who's this person? It's in the name of Mister Estate.
Right.
You know, he's the one that can sell this property."
Absolutely.
So a last will and testament controls your estate. And really in Arizona and California, where I practice, people like to avoid probate because of the complications and the time that it takes. So a trust is a good way to avoid probate. Kind of lost here in my presentation.
It's okay.
So let's show you just the basics of a trust. So a trust, another legal document, like a last will and testament, they're both just stacks of paper, basically, right?
Right.
The way the trust works, the person that creates the trust is called the trustor. I call it the trustor. Sometimes it's called the settlor or the trust maker. But this briefcase signifies that they're the boss. They're in charge.
Okay.
The trustee manages the trust. My bookkeeper hat, manager, for the benefit of the beneficiary. So usually people make the trust, they manage it for the benefit of themselves during their life.
Right.
And what the trust does is it names the trustee, so who's going to manage in the event of your death or disability. And it also designates who the beneficiaries are going to be in the event of your death and when and how they receive it.
Absolutely.
So the most common conditions would be age restrictions for a minor child or someone of a certain age.
Okay.
So a trust is a way to avoid probate. So that's a way that you can hold assets in the trust. And as long as it's owned by the trust, there's always a manager of the trust and always a beneficiary, even after the original person passes away.
Okay. And then when you talk about the trust, because you can a lot of people may get a trust, but they don't take the next step, which is funding the trust, which is also equally important that you do that, because if you don't get your assets into the trust, then here you go back into a probate situation.
Exactly. So if the house is inside of the trust, it can be controlled in there. If the bank account's in the trust, it can be controlled. But it's very common, unfortunately, it's common for people that have trust to still end up in probate. So hopefully not my clients that I help set up. You know, we make sure we provide the space and time to get everything in there.
Right.
But still, if they don't see me for 10 or 20 years and they get a new house or new bank accounts and they don't put these things back into their trust, it could trigger a probate.
Okay.
So a last will and testament controls what's in the name of the dead person, you know, what's in their name individually, and then the trust controls the assets that were transferred to the trust during their lifetime.
All right.
So, well, hopefully that's helpful for people. So where can people learn more about you, Marvin, and what you do?
If people want to know more about me, they can reach out to me at nightowlrealty.com, or you can reach out to me at Probate in Arizona, that's the other YouTube channel that I have. I also have a YouTube channel for Night Owl Realty, or they can reach me at nightowlrealty.com or probateinarizona.com. Is the best way to reach out to me.
All right, thank you. So in our next video, we're going to be talking more about how we met. So we're going to talk about how real estate investors can reach out and work with a probate attorney like myself. And we're also going to be talking about what to do after someone passes away. So we're going to be going through the steps in what I do in administering an estate after someone passes away. So we'll see you guys in the next one.